what just happened? And then I look in the mirror, and you're like holding your face, like
Yeah, covering my eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like this is like not right.
right. And then I went back and looked and saw that the trailer was on the ground. The jack was on the ground.
Yeah.
And then walked over to the other side and saw the Andersons.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what had happened is the Anderson ramp part, we'd put the truck underneath the ramp.
Right. There
So
was nothing
basically
stopping the
all we
tires
did was create a ramp for the trailer to roll down.
to move.
Yeah.
In the wrong way.
Yeah, right. Yep. So once it broke free from the truck, the trailer started to roll. And what makes me cringe is not like what happened. It's what I think about what
could have happened.
What could have happened.
It could have been all tragic.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Like just loss of control, trailer down a hill kind of stuff.
Sure. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that moment is like, there are
huge
moments,
lesson
right,
learned.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are moments. I mean, it didn't destroy the weekend,
No.
but it definitely, there were moments throughout that whole
made us
time I'm
uneasy.
there where it was just like, oh gosh.
Yeah, that could have all been so horribly wrong.
Yeah.
But it was like a lot of lessons learned from that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of lessons learned about what we're supposed to do.
Slowing down.
Yep. Calming ourselves
checking
down.
each other.
Yes. Yes.
Ensuring that
There was an
the trailer is,
understanding.
well, there's that too. Yeah. And then ensuring the trailer is locked. Like,
Yeah.
So in this, with the last trip that we did, cross chocks,
Yes.
are like, priority.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is that nothing happens, no disconnect, nothing
Right,
until
until
those
that's
things
done.
are in place. The just the regular chocks,
Yeah.
Andersons, what is it? We came up with a whole baby cradle.
Baby cradle. Yeah. To the tire.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's what's going to keep it from moving. But yeah, that was
And we're lucky. I mean, we're talking about that it fell, what might have been a couple inches,
an
maybe?
inch, yeah.
Yeah, if only an inch possibly. But, and it only damaged the very bottom, like what do you call that? That's at the bottom of the pedestal.
Oh, the plate at the bottom of the
kinda
jack. It just bent the front of it.
Just bent a little portion of it. And, we know we can replace that. And it's, but just what could have. And the fact that the loud noise and knowing that obviously everything was went wrong.
Right. Right.
And we're still so new and trying to build our confidence that we know what we're doing. It was just all
Yeah.
a negative experience.
Yeah. Well, it didn't end there. So, walking over and looking at the Andersons, it was like, oh, shit. I see what happened here. That was close.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shake that off. Let's take a moment.
Learn from
take
this.
a break.
Yeah.
We had two people come over.
Yep.
I had the folks that were sitting by the campfire.
Yeah.
One of the guys heard it
Yeah.
and walked by.
Yeah.
And then basically told me what I saw. You have to have the chucks on the opposite side. Blah blah blah. It's like yeah, that's
Eating some crow now is what it feels like.
That's exactly what was happening. Yep. And then the other gentleman who was kind of watching came over and was talking to us and said he'd help us out, and I was like, okay, great, that's fine. So I'm shaken.
Yeah.
I'm stressed.
Yep.
And still moving forward.
Yeah, we're not in the right mental.
Right.
Yeah.
Again,
headspace.
a warning.
Yeah.
To stop.
You have to stop because
Just
you're going to make
take a
more
break.
mistakes.
That's right. So he was kind enough to help us. Mm-hmm. And so he puts the Andersons back in place.
Yep.
And we have this leveler.
Yep.
And he was excited about talking about that. Oh, you got a level. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, great. So I'm, getting back into it. So I go jump in, and one of the things that is difficult, and I'm still trying to figure out how to manage it, is how to gauge the distance.
Right. You have to see it.
Because you can't feel it.
No, you can't feel it, but you have to see it and look like, okay, this is what I got, an inch or an inch and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do I, and so I am constantly trying to lock my body into a position to where I can find some kind of a point of reference that I'm like a mirror edge or the corner of the window or something to where I can see the movement because I can't tell.
Yeah.
And so I made an idiot decision.
Because you were basing it on your phone.
To look at the leveler. The leveler's going to tell me when to stop.
The app on the phone. Yeah.
Yep. Little did I realize that there's a delay.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking at this leveler, and I start to put it in reverse.
Oh, boy.
And I'm waiting for it to turn 0 as I'm going in reverse, and then boom, boom, I hear it drop again.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah, now.
Right. So then I go over there and realize that we just basically just rolled over the Andersons.
That's right.
Rolled right off of them.
That's right. You don't want to do that with those tires.
No.
And we sure did.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, now it's...
Another screw up.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And so now, okay, I'm like, what the heck? I got to slow down. I got to get my breath.
Yeah.
I got to, collect myself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like, it kept going.
Yeah, it just seemed like we were in this pit that we couldn't get out of.
Right. So he was cool about it.
Yeah.
And he, put him right back. It was like nothing.
Let's do it again.
Yep. And put him back in. So now it's like, okay, I'm back in the driver's seat, and I'm thinking, okay, again, now I got to find that point of reference. Yeah. Because that's what has been working. I still don't like it because I still feel like there's going to be like a parallax error. If I am sitting in a seat and I have a point of reference, like a corner of a mirror, and I'm going to look at a tree or something, if I move my head slightly, that point of reference changes, so I might not feel or see the actual movement. And part of me is I'm overthinking it too.
I'm thinking you are, because if you look at it and you're like, I have an inch and a half, you should have I feel that would be like you take your foot off the brake and put it right back on.
Right, but
and then if it means we're short, then we do it again.
But the putting your foot on or just taking your foot off the brake rarely ever happens. Most of the time I have to hit the gas.
Oof.
Right. So I don't want to give it too much gas.
No.
Or for too long.
It's always a pinch.
So right.
Always a pinch.
Right.
That's all that we're talking about.
Right. So it's it's always having to find that reference, and that's still. So the last time we parked,
our last trip.
Yeah, our last one.
Just a few, like last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had all these things in my mind.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do the point of reference, and it was successful. We needed to do a couple inches or whatever, and it worked. I still am trying to find that groove for that little pinch that we need. But so, yeah, it wasn't until he put the Andersons back in there that I actually saw the delay in the leveler, because I was now just going to move a little bit and then look and move a little bit. And so I saw it, moved a little bit, and then checked it out, and it worked. We were able to level.
Yeah.
And
now the home
locked
stretch.
It down.
Now the home stretch.
Right.
And like this being like worn out by the whole episode that we just went through.
Right.
Just worn out from it.
Right. No, I was exhausted.
And it's like, okay, and now we got kids that are hungry, and we gotta figure out what we're gonna do here and try to make the most of our time and try to still make it enjoyable. But we still had stuff to do though. We still had to unhitch. Then we still had to level front and back. Yep.
We still had to hook up,
slides
do all
out,
that stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, once we got everything in place, as far as like the leveling, the left and right. The unhitching, we still had the same, had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Where, had to move a little bit to get it loose, right?
Yeah.
This time with more controlled anxiety, I guess.
Right.
It's like, how could it get worse?
Oh, Lord, it could always get worse.
We had the X chocks. It was locked down. We had the chocks in there. Everything was
now
like
is right.
double chalked. It was. So felt a little bit more comfortable with getting it loose, and we were able to do that. But it was really funny too, because it's like it did not stop, because the very next thing was parking the truck.
Yep.
And of course, you got the neighbor saying, "Oh yeah, you can park right here." And I'm trying to do parallel parking between two RVs, and there's not enough room.
Nope. And a picnic table has to get moved.
And I'm moving forward. I'm like, "Yeah, I can make this work."
Yeah.
And then I got to a point, it's like, "What am I doing?" So I just parked it.
Yep.
Let's move this picnic table out of the way, and we're gonna park it right next to it.
And good enough.
Like another, So, then it was just normal stuff at that point. Hooking the power up.
Yeah.
After
that, everything was fine.
Yeah.
It's just now we're shaking.
Yeah, but I tell you what, though,
it
took several hours for me to kind of unwind from that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
And it was
for sure.
It was and like I was saying, there was a couple times where it's like you think about what could have happened.
Yes.
So again, it goes back to take your time, go slow,
and check
which I
each
didn't.
Other.
Check each other, chalks are everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that wasn't Ocean Lake's fault.
No,
to be fair,
not at all.
All that was us being the newbies that we are. We wouldn't have been as frustrated during that process if the site was a little bit more ample than what we got. But that wasn't Ocean Lake's fault. I feel like I can extract that experience from what the experience of Ocean Lakes was about, and it's just. Overall, it just wasn't our vibe.
Yeah.
It wasn't what we want to do normally. Right. So that was fine.
I agree. I think that for me, with a little bit more practice, I think we would have handled that a little bit. Well, think about the next time. I mean, the next place we went, it was handled much better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was.
But to me, some takeaways, it wasn't after work.
Yeah.
We had a full night's rest.
That's right.
We drove a distance. It was about a 5-hour drive to where we went, to Emerald Isle, North Carolina. But
that was a great park.
That was nice. But we were not stressed.
Yeah.
And I've heard it enough times with the YouTubers. It's like, if you're feeling stressed, slow down, stop, don't proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's just too much things that are precarious with RVing, especially when you're hitching and unhitching, that you can make a dumb mistake, that you could have some serious regrets. I feel it still. Like, even though we were successful this last trip we had about a week ago, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. What happened at Ocean Lakes.
Oh yeah, no.
Is
still,
tattooed in my conscience.
Right. No, I still think about it, and it's a good and a bad thing.
I think it ultimately is probably a good thing, because it will force us to do the double check.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was parking.
That was the parking.
And we're in.
Yeah. So you want to talk about the rules?
I'm just the experience, the vibes. To be honest, I go back and forth with the vibes of it. I appreciate how much. Everything is in order. They run a very tight ship.
Yes.
And I appreciate that.
Right. You don't. I don't want to deal with stuff that is unpleasant. People fighting and being drunk and acting out. No, I don't want to see any of that either. So.
Right. Well, I mean, not just that, just in their process. I mean, security was crazy.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yep. And the rules were like aplenty. I just felt like I was constantly being told not to do things that I wouldn't have really done anyways.
Right. But they're making sure you don't have any doubt.
Right, exactly. And
that's
that's the kind of the bizarre thing about it.
Yeah.
Is it was just so many.
Yeah, it was. And I again, I think if I have to look at it from a point of view like it's an HOA and this is where people permanently live,
right.
I guess.
Yeah.
But we're there on vacation mode.
Right.
And it's just kind of a bit of a bummer that everything is such a federal case.
Yeah. And it was kind of a progressive realization. I mean, I kind of felt it because they give you a nice package. And before we're getting there, I was studying everything and just kind of getting ready for it and understanding what the situation was.
Yeah.
And I noticed that, they had a lot of rules in there too. I was like, oh, okay, but then it just seemed like it was progressive and it was just like more. And then I started to read some of them and I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah. Weird things like if you're in the pool, you're not to clean your nose. I'm like, huh?
Right.
Like everybody hits water up their nose. Are you talking about like when you kind of hold and pinch your nose, you're not allowed to do that?
Right.
Right. I think that's like a human instinct. How do you get past that?
Yeah.
So there's some weird stuff that I'm like, they want to put a rule on so many things, and there's no alcohol.
Yeah.
No alcohol, period. Again, I'm not that I'm a big drinker, but I mean, it's just kind of like I thought we were at the beach. To me, beach is laid back vibes.
Right.
And people just kind of unwinding, laying their hair down. If you're that type of vacationer or RVer, I wouldn't recommend Ocean Lakes.
Right.
Yeah, because you're not going to get that vibe. We like being a little bit of like beach bums.
Yeah.
We like to sit and be in the shade and have a Seagram's because I would say I'm more of a wine cooler than anything else, and that's like having one or a pina colada. Like, this is not the place.
Yeah.
This is not, you're going to leave disappointed if you are that kind of vacationer.
What did it say? Drinking and drugs are not allowed in the park. That's like, okay. So that's
like I need to be reminded that drugs are not. It's like, what the hell are you talking about drugs for, Jesus?
Well, what I thought was funny is that that was on the pool rules. Right? It says drinking and drugs are not allowed in the park.
We frown on meth. That's good to know.
In the park though, they said in the park in the pool rules.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so you've gotten past the first rule list to be at the pool to be told that you got to leave the park.
Right.
Because of your drugs. Anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't know.
No solo swimming was the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Which
You can't swim alone.
Yeah.
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 Again, I think we are, and I said this to you not too long ago, it's like we're so new to this. We've been to a bunch of RV parks at this point, but there's just going to be some that it's just obviously not a fit for us.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, this is not the type of people we are. This is not how we vacation or RV.
Right.
And it's just not a good fit. And for us, it's not, and I could see how it could be great for some people. Like, they want things in a certain way. There's no alcohol. They prefer none of that. No music allowed, that kind of vibe. Like,
what was that movie, Footloose?
Yeah, no dancing. I didn't see any rules about no dancing. But like, it's a very, I don't even know what the right term would be, because conservative isn't like, because that just comes connotation of politics. And I'm not saying this is political. I'm just saying that this is a place that, even having kids there, and kids are going to run, and kids are going to be loud, and kids are going to be like, don't you dare. Like, that's the vibe I got. And maybe that's a little unfair to say that about them, but it was like, I was thankful that our kids are older and mature, and I didn't have to even worry about it.
Yeah.
Because it just felt very, I don't know if authoritative.
No, that's it. It's what it felt like.
Like it was very authoritative, and I'm like, I'm on vacation.
It's like there are common laws or common rules. You just know.
Yeah,
I
know how to behave. I don't need to be reminded. Like, I'm 48 years old. I know. And I guess, again, in their defense, it's Myrtle Beach.
Right.
It has a reputation.
Well, here's the revelation. They're fighting that. Here's the revelation that I had, though, is that as I was going through the rules recently, just to kind of go through it again, well, there's 104 rules total. 89 of them are numbered. This is just for the pool. 4 are non-numbered, and 11 are non-numbered statements. So basically, just kind of warnings. Oh, well, sorry. 4 were non-numbered pictorial. So they're pictures of things not to do.
You can't do these things.
Right.
Okay.
And then 11 non-numbered statements. So basically, just kind of, we've got all these rules, but then don't go in the pool without your life jacket. It's like, okay. But the revelation was this, was remember when we were sitting at the pool and the lifeguard who was watching the lazy river, there was a dude talking to her the whole time.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was odd because I've never seen that.
Like he was flirting with her.
Right.
Yeah.
And usually, the lifeguards have to be focused.
They're supposed to be left alone.
Right.
You're not supposed to ask them questions.
Right.
They're supposed to be able to focus on people in the pool.
But the whole time we were there, he was talking to her the whole time.
Yes.
And then they did the rotation.
Yeah.
And so she left, and he went with her.
Yeah.
The next lifeguard came.
Yep.
And there was a dude with her talking to her the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it was like, pool rule number 15.
Oh, violation.
Please keep conversations with the lifeguards to a minimum while they're on duty.
Well,
and
someone was supposed to get a demerit.
Now, if I hadn't seen that, that would be one of those rules that would be like, really? We need to be told? To not talk
apparently,
to the lifeguards.
These people needed to be told.
And then if you're looking at that situation, I was expecting the lifeguard to say...
Right, that would be the right thing. It's like, listen,
hey, I'm sorry. I have to focus here. I have to do my job. We can talk later, whatever.
Yeah.
But no. But they have a rule. So it's on us.
Right.
It's on us to control that situation.
That's an interesting takeaway.
Yeah.
Again, in Ocean Lake's defense, I get it. Being in Myrtle, they have there's an element that Myrtle Beach is known for of people just acting ridiculous and stupid. But we vacation in Myrtle Beach regularly, and we go to resorts that it's, they have tiki bars,
right?
And adults know what they're doing, and they're little kids, and there's sometimes ever so often a little bit of loudness, in the hotel, but we understand it.
Right.
But I guess again, I think some truth to be told about the fact that you have a situation where this is where people live. They're not on vacation mode. And being that it's the vast majority of people there, I think, who this is their permanent residence, there's no vacation mode for them. So I guess it makes sense. But I didn't know that. And I think we're going to run into this in other RV parks where most of the people are there are permanent.
So you say permanent, and that's still one thing I want to check, or at least understand or verify, because they are, it's quote unquote like seasonal, right? And so, and you're probably right. There probably are a number of people there that are permanent, but I wonder what that percentage might be, because I think there could be folks that get a place like that
and rent it out,
and either rent it out or they only come to it like a few
couple
times
months out
in
of
the
the year.
summertime or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I to me it's like, well, this is how I can try to justify in my head that authoritativeness, because we have been to Myrtle Beach every year for the last probably 12, 13 years.
Yeah, pretty frequent.
And never have I been to a place where we're vacationing at Myrtle and not being able to just have a tiki bar or people just able to kind of let their hair down and kind of enjoy. Yeah. And maybe again it's us reading the rules as maybe we took it too seriously, but I don't know. I just feel like overall it was a place that and maybe it's also the fact that we're so used to a hotel experience, and this is an RV park, and it's going to be different. But I mean, we've been to RV parks like the one we did in Savannah. Right. That was very vacation-like.
Yeah, it was.
And they had a huge bar. Right. And it sounds like I'm a drunk, but
well, no, I mean it's not that. It is like, let an adult be an adult.
Right.
Yes. It's a place to go and relax, and some people like to have a cocktail or a drink.
Right.
and you should be able to do that
and enjoy yourself and
right.
have a nice time.
Right.
Now, I just felt like it was less vacation vibe for me.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, that's why I don't want to go back to Ocean Lakes.
Yeah.
And the site that we ended up with was very short. And certainly there are other sites that we could have picked from. But I mean, we've had sites that, we knew it was going to be a little on the short side, but we didn't have everybody on top of us.
Yeah.
Like there was more space. The roads had
That's
more
right.
space.
Yeah.
The people behind us, on the sites behind us, there was more generous space that you can't get at Ocean Lakes, at least not in K, not in Site K area.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no. So that's there were spots that were closer to the beach that I think gave more room.
Yeah, but those are the more premium. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I agree for the most part. I mean, it felt like it was like you were just constrained.
Yeah.
So there are other aspects of that park that were interesting. The fact that it was we ended up being a 3-mile walk on the beach.
Yeah, we did a great walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know the Myrtle Beach Strip really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we got to a familiar area, we felt kind of like at ease. And, we
walked 3 miles to a tiki bar, basically.
We did. Well, no, it was a restaurant and had like appetizers and everything. But we got some good exercise in, and we did some of the things that the kids like to do that we do regularly at Myrtle, like the pizza place and stuff that they like to do. So we did that kind of stuff. And that was fine. It wasn't like the trip was a bad trip.
No.
It was fine. It was just, going through a learning experience that we did, which in my opinion ultimately will be a valuable experience that we will kind of carry with us as to ensure that we're more measured and more cautious.
Yeah.
It taught me the importance of really kind of understanding the site a little bit better and and maybe doing a little bit more homework about how much space people really have.
I think the space aspect of it, I do think that's something that's going to come with practice.
We'll get better
because there's different ways to have approached that site.
Yeah, we'll get better. But I mean, even the seasoned couple or family that was outside chatting with us, he at length, because you would take your circle as you're doing it, he would went on and on about how this is probably the tightest RV park he's ever been to. That they just kind of have everybody really close to each other, and with the roads being so narrow, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge for newbies, and I think for some seasoned people, at least where we were, our spot, it was tough.
Yeah.
But all good experience. Like I said, and I think you said it, if you are, it is a clean RV park. It has a lot of amenities. You are right on the beach. So it has a lot of positives from that point of view. And if you've never been and you want to give it a try, you'll definitely have an experience that hopefully will be easier than one we had. But you'll have a lot of things at your fingertips with the it's like it's a water park is really what it is. It's not, wouldn't be fair to just call it a pool. It's like they have a full-on water park there. And so there's a lot for somebody who wants to give it a try. It just didn't work well for us, but it can definitely work well for others.
Absolutely. Yeah, we made the best of it. We had a good time.
As we usually do with Myrtle.
So I think that's it. I mean, I can't think of anything else to mention about it.
Nope.
We have what was the name of the one we were just at?
It's a complicated name, and it makes it all the harder to remember. So I'm gonna get it.
I had it up recently.
Holiday L Travel Park.
Yeah.
It's actually Holiday Trav and then an L, so Travel Park Resort. That's what it's called. Right here.
HTP. That's what they call it.
HTP.
So that was the thing. They have HTP, HTP Resort, Holiday Travel Park.
Right.
Resort.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about something else.
Yeah. We can talk about anything. We just haven't done Carowinds.
No,
and I think Carowinds deserves some mentioning because of all the places we've been to, as far as like a RV park, because Kerr Lake is like a state park or county park. You know, it's like,
state park,
Yeah, it's a state park. I would say Carowinds is the most impressive one. And I did not expect that. No shade to Carowinds, but I mean, when you're in Charlotte, you know, Carowinds is a regional park.
Yeah.
And being from Orlando, we know theme parks well, and it's unfair to even come close to comparing, you know, those two large parks, or actually SeaWorld is the third, you know, any of those parks in Orlando to Carowinds. It's just like, you know, different universes. But Carowinds has a nice RV park.
Yeah, you were actually able to take the shuttle.
The shuttle to the park. I mean, it's clean, and it's just a nice setup. And again, I think our expectations were not high.
Yeah.
And so when we were like, you know, it's like, this is a nice setup, and it's easy and convenient, and I don't know, it's definitely worth its own podcast.
Sure. All right, well, that's it then.
Dinner time.
Yep.
I gotta take care of Zelda.